Good evening and welcome to my channel. Tonight we'll be continuing our story of the Hearts of Argyle Godfrey by Nicholas Leonard. Chapter 6. How could I have known that Aurora Oleander was a narcissist? Our schedules coincided one week towards the end of July, and we met each other after work in a park in Lynn, where a fountain was spouting in the middle of a pond while lost Canadian geese waddled about in search of somewhere to leave their droppings. My hair was disheveled and my face was pink from being in the sun, and she was looking much prettier than me, even in her red Macy's shirt with the name tag that read Aurora. This was where and when she gave me a rendition of a John Keats she had spent memorizing, but I had a feeling that whoever John Keats was, he probably did not sound like Aurora. Nonetheless, she spoke it while the traffic of Lynn existed behind us. You say you love, but with a voice virgin like a nun who sings the soft church songs to herself as the church bells ring. Just love me truly. You say you love, but with a smile cold as a sunrise in September, as if you was Cupid's nun and kept his weeks of ember. Just love me truly. You say you love, but then your lips like coral teach no happiness. More than coral in the sea, they never pout for kisses. Just love me truly. You say you love, but your hand no soft squeeze for squeeze return. It's like a statue's dead, while mine to passion burns. Just love me truly. I laughed nervously. I don't know what all that means. I wasn't finished, jerk, she cheered. This made me laugh. She continued. Just breathe a word or two of fire. Smile as if those words could burn me. Squeeze as lovers should and kiss me, and in your heart you earn me. Just love me truly. It's very cute, I said, nodding. Boy, you was not listening. I could tell. I was listening, but I didn't understand any of it. You're supposed to feel it, not understand. Well, I felt very nice. Yeah, you better, buddy, she said. So when will I get to hear yours instead of somebody that I don't know? I ain't ready yet. Well, when you are, I want to listen. I stopped to take a deep breath. And if I give you my heart, I want you to speak your poetry to it every night, with that Ozempic meter thing. She punched me in the shoulder. Hey, I chuckled. And it's iambic meter, dummy. How was work? All right. I helped some old ladies and some woman who probably cheating on her husband. I heard a whine in my voice, but thankfully it wasn't very prominent. And you helped her? And I got paid while doing it. You're welcome, Stacy's mom. You are sassy, I said at the risk of being punched again, but this time she did not. All right, so what do you want to do? I shrugged and looked at the pond. This is fine with me. I'm kind of cold. You're cold? Yeah, the fountain's misting over here, she said with a childlike disappointment, like someone who didn't know how to turn a faucet off. We can go somewhere else, I suggested, but she didn't say anything, so I asked, Where do you want to go? Salem. You like it there, don't you? Her response made my spirit step on the brakes. It's where we met, she said matter-of-factly. I looked at her and saw no sprinkles of fountain mist on the polish of her face. She was beautiful. What do you want to do there? Walk around? I asked, and she nodded before thoughtfully hitting her vape, giving the fountain's mist a taste of its own medicine when the fumes came out of her mouth. She held it lackadaisically, with her thumb brushing the flat black rectangle, as if considering whether or not to twirl it in her fingers. Want to go, Argyle? It was one of the most detrimental yeses of my life. Yes, and I had said it while picking at the grass. We took my car because I had picked her up from work in it an hour prior. We cruised around in search of parking and ended up parking in a little resident parking lot that was practically empty anyway. The fresh air smelled fresher when we got out because Aurora had been hitting her vape for the entire ride, making my car smell like a grape factory. We walked around. Spring and summer are the best times to be in Salem because the wackos and tourists only appear in the fall. Yes, in summer, that day in late July, Salem belonged to us. The red brick sidewalks, the museums which we did not enter, the many, many antique shops. It all belonged to us. She took my arm and hung on to it while we walked, and it made me feel like a proud and strong bison, more than just a man. We ended up on the street that had the Ropes mansion on it. More famously, the witch house was on the corner of the street, and nestled between the witch house and Ropes mansion was the oldest church in Salem, a building that resembled a castle rather than a church. What a pair of siblings these three buildings were, with the apartment houses on the rest of the street, colonial in tradition, being like sentinels in disguise of ordinary buildings. In fact, if I was a ghost in Salem, then I would rather seek refuge in one of the houses on that street instead of any of the supposedly haunted buildings in the town, because the tourists did not pay any mind to these houses. There we stood in front of the oldest church in Salem, while people were taking photos in front of the Ropes mansion. There came no warning when she kissed my lips. How aching was it when our lips unsquished? A peck, a blip, the big bang of flesh. She looked so pleased to have conjoined our lips, and even more to take hers off my own. Her mouth was closed and mine undone and dropped. "What?" she smirked. Again." With the tilt of her head, she flipped a strand of hair out of her forehead when she came back up to kiss me. It lasted just as fast, and it was as if the blueprints for my new heart was written in our kiss. Architecture Leonardo da Vinci could have only dreamt of. "Aurora," I breathed when our lips unpopped. Her voice came out sultry. "Yes?" But she knew what she was doing. I was breathless, speechless, while the whole city of Boston was in her voice. I shuffled in place as if I had been stiff from work. That was our first kiss. You kissed me." "You got a problem with that, buddy?" I shook my head, unable to say nuh-uh. I leaned down and kissed her, making this kiss last longer because I wanted it to. "Argyle, you're my boyfriend now." I reached forward and sent my hand into her hair, sailing on the side of her head. "I am," I promised in a mumble. We remembered the date, July 28th, making the 28th our month anniversary. Isolation unthawed. When your heart is in jeopardy, you might be surprised at how pure your intentions become. And I think it surprised Aurora. I'm not sure what she was expecting, but I think my caution, and I guess you could call it chivalry, surprised her. It made me wonder and worry what kind of men she had known before me. But I quickly thwarted those thoughts away because I had found the woman who would have my heart. I gave her my heart before she showed me her poetry. It was on a night in August. The air conditioning in my window was humming and blocking out the sound of the crickets outside, while Aurora and I sat on my bed as I held my heart in my hands. The same lamp that I had had since childhood was doing a poor job of illuminating my bedroom, giving it a tired heaven glow, as if heaven was getting ready to shut down. Everything must go. Yes, it was a little early to give away my heart. But what I had with Aurora seemed to be more than love, and she seemed to be more than my girlfriend. She heard my empty chest and stayed with me. "You sure you want me to have this?" "Aurora," I was breathless. "When you listened to my chest that night in Salem, I saw something in your eyes. I didn't know you then, but I think I saw you change right before my eyes. I'm not sure what this was about, but the way you looked at me, I could have given you my heart right there and then." "Argyle," she whined. "I mean it. I want you to have it, even just to see if you can take care of it, if I can make it a couple nights without it in my room." She touched my shoulder. "You have a heartbeat in the words you speak," I admitted. I gestured for her to take it. "Here, take it. It's been through a lot." A hint of human nature passed through her eyes the way one lonely bird obstructs the sky. Temptation pried her coral lips apart. Our chests were galloping so quietly while I waited for her to take my heart. And though her nails were beige, I thought they moved the way that storm clouds do. We both released our breaths the moment that her hand eclipsed the glasswork of my heart. She took it from my hands. I could tell it had been heavier than she was expecting, and she smoothed it over in her hands like some misshapen crystal ball, and she even looked into it like it was one too. How do you feel? She marveled. Safe at last. She touched my knee. Argyle, I'll take care of it. I won't let anything happen to it, okay? I leaned and docked my face into her neck. Where are you going to put it? Is it okay under my pillow? I spoke into her neck, inhaling her scent. Right under your head. I'll tell you what. Sometimes I'll take it out and hold it in my sleep like some kind of teddy bear, huh? Right? I nodded in her neck. That's my boy, she said and kissed the top of my head, lips landing in a poof of hair. My strength and will collapsed into a hug, and both my arms engulfed her clingingly. It's finally safe, I murmured into her neck. I felt her rub my shoulder. Her touch was like the touch a goddess gives, a touch to let me know she did exist. I think my spirit tricked me to feel a beat, something returning in my hollow chest. Oh, softly starting from the coldest depths, Aurora held me, face into her neck. It was more than love. It was hypnotic. I won't let anything happen to it, she promised, still rubbing my arm. It was her who initiated the kissing, and it was an intense kissing. My lips were unprepared. My lips did not see it coming. It seemed the goal of her lips was to make mine soar, and it was achieved. Was that passion? She was so spider-like in kissing me, and what a web we weaved. Saliva strings were pulled until they broke at the parting of our lips, only for us to spin the cables of our mouths again. Aurora took an all-endearing lead, and didn't stop till I gasped for breath, and stopped to brush my face, which turned to red. My lips perceived the throb within her lips, and felt the capillaries' universe's universal heartbeat. My God, she had been feasting on me. She was both excited and breathless, but apparently barely satiated. You can still feel, can't you? I nodded. Her finger hooked and let my bottom lip slingshot against the upper one elastically when she pulled her finger off. Interlude, the colors of Aurora. How can I keep my soul in me so that it doesn't touch his soul? How can I raise it high enough, past you, to other things? I would like to shelter it among lost objects, in some dark and silent place that doesn't resonate when your depths resound. Yet everything that touches us, you and I, takes us together like a violin's bow, which draws one voice out of two separate strings. Upon what instrument are we to spanned, and what musician holds us in his hand? O sweetest song, love song, Rainier Maria Rilke. Read by Aurora Oleander. Oh, baby, you so hot, you need a shower, she said to me one day in August, dabbing her hand over my forehead. My God, do you wear sunscreen? I do when I go in, but it fades. More like melts. Go take a shower, baby. Let me DoorDash something for us. What do you want? You pick. My mom came in with the brown paper bags in her hands. Aurora, are you sleeping over again? Let me help you, Mom, I said, but Aurora put her hand into my chest, saying, No, you get in the shower. I'll help her. You're so good with him, I heard my mother saying as I walked upstairs. Yeah, well, you want something to eat, Mrs. Godfrey? No, thank you, dear. I eavesdropped while getting a towel and walking into the bathroom. Do you have it in a safe place? My mother asked. Under my pillow at home. I hold it every night. I heard the crinkle of the paper bags before my mother began. I was so worried that someone wouldn't understand. He really has been through a lot. It was only a matter of time before some doctor took some measure like that. Mrs. Godfrey, I understand. When I heard his empty chest that night in Salem, I knew I had to take care of him. And he's good to you? Incredibly. And I had the feeling Aurora stopped to hit her vape. He much better than any of my exes. Oh, my mother whined, and I imagined her pouting as if she was looking at something cute. What do you get? Aurora asked, and that was my cue to turn the shower on. Aurora had DoorDash food from the Cheesecake Factory, and it came a couple minutes after I got out of the shower. I got dressed and ate with her and my mom at the kitchen table while they talked about new things in Macy's. My mom talked about her grocery shopping, and Aurora nodded, probably romanticizing the profession in her head. Swans are my favorite bird, my mom said. I only see geese. Oh no, we stopped watching America's Got Talent, didn't we, Argyle? My mother said. Oh, I was going wicked crazy on coffee for a long time. It was like I was on crack. I cut back, Aurora said. Aurora, we should go shopping soon. Do you want to come, baby? Oh no, Argyle's always hated shopping. Even when he was a toddler, he used to cry when I brought him into stores for big boy sneakers. Mom, I scoffed. Big boy sneakers, Aurora teased. Then she gasped and grabbed my wrist as I was going to put a fry into my mouth. You know what we need? She said, her Boston accent emphasized in excitement. A goddamn day at the beach. Oh, Argyle used to burn so bad at the beach, even though I made him reapply sunscreen, my mom happily crooned. This time I cringed. Mom. They went shopping one day while I was working, and I did not envy them. Knowing that my mom and my girlfriend were spending time together and bonding actually made pushing carts in the heat somewhat enjoyable, and for the first time in forever, it felt like I was actually working for a reason. The only thing is that I'm not sure if that was the day Aurora bought the peach bikini or not. And there I was with a farmer's tan on Nahant Beach, looking up at her while the cool Atlantic breeze tried stealing strands of her hair. The wind must have tried to steal her hair 1,000 times, because she looked secure with herself, confident, okay. Ain't you gonna come in the waves with me? It's cold, I griped. You haven't even gotten in yet. You can't spend all day like this. You'll get sand in your rear end. I shrugged and shimmied my cheeks deeper into the dunes. Who's got your heart? I snapped my head up at her, but the sunlight blinded me just enough to make her 95% silhouette. She said it again. Come on, baby. Who's got your heart? She was saying to the tune of Who's Got Your Nose. I felt the hollow ache inside my chest. She offered her hand. I took it, got up, and we walked towards the ocean, where the tide rolled and unrolled its carpet. There are moments in life that you don't expect to be intimate. These are the moments of accidental intimacy where life takes us, stops us, freezes us, and whispers with minty breath, you will remember this. And you do. I do. See, when Aurora and I entered the Atlantic Ocean and waded out to our bellies, I wasn't expecting one of these watershed moments. The ocean had been cold, this coldness making her body do such a human thing, and that was my mistake. We jumped in one wave, and I remained standing while she twirled in the other. For no reason other than that she was my girlfriend, I put my hand on her thigh, and I felt goosebumps, and felt this ancient braille along her thigh. As if to reaffirm its existence, I pressed my hand into her thigh, wet, cold, bumpy. Goosebumps. She was smiling so much so that she hadn't realized we were cold yet. I think my chill was amplified by the revelation of holding her leg. Her body was reacting to the cold while the rest of her was lost in laughter. It was an incredibly human thing, and the amount of goosebumps on the back of her thigh, she had to have had twice as big a heart as mine. This was when I realized that Aurora Oleander, my girlfriend, was human, better than a goddess. She could be bested. She could be happy. She could be conquered. She could be heartbroken. She could love. She could be loved. I knew I had to love her even greater than I thought I could. What a combination that was, her goosebumps and smile, sea breeze splashing in our faces. And while she recovered from one of the waves, losing the battle in the sea with a smile, I saw that she was the culmination of hundreds upon hundreds of years of love stories. Parents, grandparents, great-grandparents and beyond. The reason that her hair was black and skin was vanilla white. The reason that her smile was the way it was. Why she was the way she was. That's what made her goddess-like to me after all. The fact that she was the result of thousands of years of humans loving one another. And here there was this human for me to love, laughing in the cold Atlantic Ocean. She laughed, and far away some jealous seagulls squawked. I went to laugh, but could only smile as I took her by the waist, which was riddled in goosebumps too. She was all goosebumps, all wonderful goosebumps. The sea anointed us in its mist, and the goosebumps broke out across our skin. How her body absorbed the waves, how she laughed when she couldn't stop them. I laughed too while feeling the sea wash off my sunblock. What poem do you have for this occasion, Aurora? I asked thunderously while taking all of her in my arms, which her waist fit in. Her Boston accent came out with the grossness of a smoker's voice. My mind's drawing a blank, but it was wonderful. No plutonic rectangular? I queried, spinning us into another wave. Iambic pentameter, she cheered. She shrieked because she almost fell into the water, but I caught her. Our laughter had distracted us so much that we hadn't noticed our bodies adjusting to the cold. How bright the sun! How blue and cold the sea! We spun each other in seemingly predetermined orbit as if we were an uncertain lottery that would determine who would catch the brunt of the next wave. We moved as humans are supposed to in the sea. We chased each other towards the shallows and back into the deep, feet undoing the cake of the shoals, sometimes disturbing the occasional shell. We hadn't noticed how many free samples of perfume the sea had given us until we walked back to our lawn chairs and towels. She wore seawater beads like jewelry, her body studded in the fragile gems. I watched them crawling down in coy descent and navigate the goosebumps on her arms. How could a woman glow as daylight set and smile, knowing not the things she's done? Wait, baby, I's got to put sunblock back on you. What? I heard myself squeak. You heard your mum the other day. She was getting out a canister of sunscreen, not noticing how my squeak had pulled my face into a cringe. Turn around, she commanded. I'm gonna do your back first. I obeyed and faced the ocean that desired our return. She wiped the seawater off my back with a towel. Then I heard the spring and felt a mist colder than that which the ocean offered. It's not just your heart I want to take care of. All of ya. Turn around now, baby. Again, I obeyed. Somewhere deep inside the archives of our Instagram stories, there exists evidence of this day on Nahant Beach. I know because I've dug deep into the archive, something which is a little hard to find on the Instagram app. But I found it, and I've spent nights looking at the pictures we took, looking at Aurora's smile, my content smile, and I would wonder what happened. I would look and wonder if Aurora wasn't as heartless as she turned out to be. I would wonder if there was some chance at saving her, some chance of making her love me after all, wondering what I did to be unlovable, wondering what had changed, wondering if she was lying in the beginning, such melancholic wonder pouring like cement into the empty space inside my chest. The cement is always pouring, and it feels fathomless. The cement's descent watched by my helpless lungs and helpless spine. A couple of days after our beach day, Aurora surprised me at Stop and Shop. It was on a day where September was anxious to bulldoze August, even though August had barely gotten the chance to begin. I liked this because that meant it was more bearable to push the carts. I still was working up a sweat, but it wasn't as bad. I heard the cackling coming from the car which pulled into the parking lot with a horrible parking job, but I turned away from it to go and get a cart at the very edge of the parking lot, evidence of someone having tried to steal the cart and failing, a normal occurrence at Stop and Shop. Somebody covered up my eyes. I almost bent over and twisted around, prepared to throw them over my shoulder, an instinctive nature of mine from the showers in the processing barracks from the purgatory Uncle Sam put me in after quitting boot camp via failing my run on purpose. But thankfully, I didn't do this. Guess who? Aurora. She giggled. You say my name too normally. You're supposed to sound like you was in love. I am, I said, and that unlocked her hands, letting me see again the grungy streets of Lynn. Whatever car that had dropped her off drove away, and I spun around. She kissed me, our trapeze artist lips together squished. What are you doing here? I asked. I wanted to come see you here at your work. I looked around the no man's land parking lot. Thankfully, it wasn't busy. I put my hand on her shoulder and said, I got a couple of hours left. 1 hour and 48 minutes. I nodded. You good with that? I want to see how you do this. All right, just follow my lead then. She did. She followed me in and out of the store while I collected cards. I coached her as she pushed 4 cards, and as my shift was drawn to a close, I was overcome with a bit of excitement. Most I ever pushed was 14, I swear. Uphill, right here. It was so long that I had to break it up into 2 before I pushed them into the store. It had been adorable watching her push the 4 carts, because it was as if she had been a mouse that was turned into a human, her legs working as hard as they could for just 4 carts. "Who's this?" Heidi asked when she came out for her cigarette break. "Aurora Leander, my girlfriend," I said, and Aurora mantled me with her arms around my neck as Heidi's cigarette smoke anointed us. "Are you looking for a job, Aurora?" Heidi asked, to which she answered, "No, I work over at Macy's." "Which one?" "The one at the North Shore Mall," Aurora answered. I left them talking in front of the store because I noticed the gaggle of cars that had appeared out in the distance of the parking lot. One day in the middle of August, I went out with her and a lot of her friends. We crowded some sub shop in Salem that had a fire station theme and really only 2 options on the menu. Had Aurora not been there, I would have been nervous amongst all those strangers. They tossed inside jokes back and forth over the checkered tablecloth, indulged in gossip, compliments, and all sorts of things that I forgot were humans capable of. The group consisted of the girls that had been with her that night in Salem, as well as some men. One gay man, I assume, and one scrawny pale one with a tattoo on his face. He was wearing a beanie and sweatshirt and kept hitting his vape the whole time that we were in the sub shop. We had our first argument when we got back to my house afterward, and thankfully, nobody else was there to hear or witness it because it ended up being messy. I had asked her about her friends because I was curious, and I wanted to be more a part of her life. She went through the list, her Boston drawl firing up as she spoke passionately, and I listened and tried retaining all of it. But then she got on the dude who wore the beanie. "He's tried hooking up with me," she was saying. "He what?" "Like tons of times." "And you're friends with him? So?" I think I was cringing while I processed it. Why was I getting suddenly jealous? "Like that doesn't bother you?" I asked her. She kind of chuckled. "I mean, I don't expect anything different of him." "Aurora, he was eyeing you the entire time we were there." "And you ain't?" "I'm your boyfriend," I emphasized with something between a snarl and a plea. "Yeah, huh," she said before studying my face. I don't really know or remember what emotion my expression was conveying, but whatever it was, it didn't please her. She leaned forward as if to dare me to take my emotion just 1 notch forward. "Listen, Argyle, he's a harmless stoner. He tries copping a feel with most of my friends. But even you? Yeah, huh. Why are you still friends with him if all he wants from you is that?" "How could you say something like that?" she asked. "You know what? No. You're driving me home." "Huh?" "Yeah, huh." I didn't know what to say. I must have looked astonished because she spoke for me. "What? You want me to block him on Snapchat too?" She was getting out her phone. No. I guess it's just weird to me, okay? I'm sorry. Do you not trust me? I trust you. I just don't trust him. I don't even know him." She folded her arms, phone in hand like a loaded pistol. "Well, if you can't trust me, then maybe we shouldn't be together. Aurora, I'm sorry, Argyle. I'm going to have to think about this." But she didn't sound sorry. She was looking at her phone with so much power kindled in her thumb. "I'm sorry, Aurora. I'm not used to this, like being in a relationship. Maybe I'm just paranoid. I don't know." "Yeah, huh, you're really paranoid. I wouldn't cheat on you." "I didn't think you would. I just don't know about this guy, or why you're friends with him." "'Cause he's friends with my friends, and because he's friends with my friends, that means by proxy I'm his friend as well." I started rubbing my hands together. "Can we talk about this tomorrow?" She looked at her phone and said, "I don't know if I want to talk tomorrow." That was the part that felt like a gut punch. She said it so carelessly, too. I felt my lips quiver and tried containing myself. "All right, I'll give you a lift home, but please text me. Tell me we can talk about this sometime." She was still looking at her phone. "All right, Argyle." I drove her home to her dad's that afternoon and drove home trying not to cry. I was confused, and I had no idea that this was where and when Aurora Leander would begin to work my mind like a Rubik's Cube. I showered when I got home because it felt to be the safest place to cry. Why had she acted like that? Was I in the wrong? Maybe. Anyway, I got my cry out and refrained from texting her that night, only texting her good morning first thing when I woke up. Long story short, I tried explaining my reasoning for my worry, but she ended up getting mad and ended up apologizing. my apology ending the argument along with another day and night of not texting. It was our first argument, and it was done. She was holding me on my bed a week later, petting my hair while my air conditioner was humming as if the silence of the universe was being translated into noise through it. She had brought over my heart, and we marveled at it together, whereafter we lay down together to cuddle. We cuddled, but did not sleep, and we became so stagnant that my bedroom began to feel more like mausoleum than anything else, and the hum of the air conditioner was the translation of centuries outside, all coming in a language that meant nothing to us. Could you love somebody heartless, Argyle? I sat up, exiting her arms because of how serious she sounded. Of course I love you, I said, sounding a bit too stern than I would have liked. She chortled, my heart in her hand like an oversized baseball. No, baby. I mean, could you love somebody who is heartless? Who hadn't has a heart? Well, yeah. I paused. When I first heard your chest, that was the first question I ever wanted to ask you. She said this with her face doing a horizontal shimmy that ruffled the hair along the side of her face. Then a spell of seriousness took her. And I love you. I felt the coldness in my chest revolt. Her hand across her mouth became a mask. Her eyes the only things alive on earth, constructing palaces inside myself. She uncovered her mouth. I love you, and covered it back. I was shocked because she had never said it before. I love you too, Aurora. She giggled. You're too serious. Her face was pink as the capillaries in her face would allow. Affection like a rain, she planned the droughts. I was the heartless, helpless farmer in an old farmhouse. Thus ends Chapter 6 of the Hearts of Argyle Godfrey by Nicholas Leonard.